Ethan Cole was 17 years old when his father locked him out of the house. It was 1:13 in the morning. He stood barefoot on the frozen concrete outside their small suburban home. The air was sharp and cold, biting into his skin. His toes felt numb. He had rushed outside so fast that he forgot his shoes. The porch light was off. The street was quiet. His phone had died hours ago. Behind the locked door, his father's last words still echoed in his head. "You'll stay out there until you're ready to admit what you did." Ethan pressed his arms tightly against his chest, trying to stay warm. His breath came out in white clouds. He stared at the dark windows of the house where he had lived his whole life. It did not feel like home anymore. Inside, his father, Marcus Cole, believed he was a thief. $4,000 was missing from the locked drawer in Marcus's office. It was emergency money. Money meant to pay the property taxes. Money that kept a roof over their heads. And Caleb, Ethan's older brother, had said he saw Ethan take it. "Dad, I saw him. He took the money." Caleb's voice replayed over and over in Ethan's mind. Everything had happened so fast. His father did not ask questions. He did not listen. He did not even look Ethan in the eyes long enough to see the truth. He just chose a side. And it wasn't Ethan's. A sudden light flicked on across the street. Then another. The neighbor's security lights reacted to movement. Ethan felt heat rush to his face even in the freezing cold. Anyone looking outside would see him standing there like a criminal who had been thrown out. He swallowed hard. This wasn't the first time Caleb had blamed him for something. When they were younger, it had been small things: broken plates, missing video game controllers, lies about who started a fight. Somehow, Caleb always sounded more believable. Caleb was confident. Caleb was loud. Caleb knew how to speak without shaking. Ethan was quiet, careful, sometimes too quiet. Why does he always believe him? Ethan whispered to himself. His voice sounded small in the cold night. What hurt the most was not the punishment. It was the certainty in his father's voice. Marcus had already decided the truth. There had been no space for Ethan's side of the story. No space for doubt. Inside that house was the man who was supposed to protect him. Instead, he had locked the door. Ethan stepped closer to the window. Frost had formed along the edges of the glass. He rubbed a small circle clear with his hand and tried to see inside. That was when he noticed movement. At the top of the staircase, Caleb stood in the shadows, watching. Their eyes met through the thin opening in the curtain. Caleb did not look scared. He did not look sorry. Slowly, without breaking eye contact, Caleb reached up and closed the curtain. The window went dark. Ethan stood alone in the freezing night, his feet burning from the cold, his heart burning even worse. Somewhere inside that house was the truth, and somehow he would have to find a way to prove it. Deep in emotional stakes, Ethan Cole had always been the quiet one in the family. He did well in school. He listened more than he spoke. Teachers liked him because he worked hard and did not cause trouble. A few months ago, he was accepted into a state university to study engineering. It was the happiest day of his life. He did not celebrate loudly, but inside he felt proud. He worked part-time at a small auto shop after school and on weekends. He saved every dollar for college. He did not buy new clothes. He did not go out with friends often. He kept his head down and focused on his future. But inside, Ethan carried a heavy feeling. He had always felt like the replaceable son. If something went wrong, people looked at him first. If something broke, he was asked about it first. He told himself it did not matter. He told himself to stay calm and avoid arguments. Still, the feeling never fully went away. Caleb Cole was very different. At 21, Caleb was confident and loud. In high school, he had been a football star. People knew his name. Coaches praised him. His father smiled more at his games than at anything else. Caleb liked attention. He knew how to talk in a way that made people believe him. But after high school, things changed. He dropped out of community college. He lost his warehouse job. He spent more and more time on his phone, placing bets on sports games. At first, it seemed harmless. Then he started losing money. Caleb did not show fear on his face. He joked. He laughed. He acted like everything was under control. But inside, he felt like he had already failed. And he owed money, not only to betting apps, but to someone who did not forgive easily. Marcus Cole, their father, worked long hours as a city bus driver. 5 years ago, his wife, Angela, died from pneumonia. She had been sick, but they thought it was just a bad flu. Marcus still blamed himself for not taking her to the hospital sooner. After Angela died, the house became quiet in a different way. Marcus tried to stay strong, but he changed. He favored Caleb, maybe because Caleb reminded him of his younger self, bold and full of energy. Ethan seemed distant to him, too quiet, too sensitive. Marcus did not know how to reach him, so he stopped trying. Caleb reacted to their mother's death by acting out. Ethan reacted by pulling away. No one really talked about their feelings. When problems came, Marcus chose the explanation that hurt the least. It was easier to believe Ethan had taken the money than to question Caleb again. Now with $4,000 missing, everything felt fragile. Without that money, they could lose the house. Ethan's college plans depended on financial stability. Caleb's debts were growing fast. Marcus's pride would not let him admit he might be wrong. There was one small detail no one else knew. Earlier that week, after some tools went missing from the garage, Ethan had quietly installed a small security camera. He did not tell his father. He did not tell Caleb. He just wanted to be careful. He had no idea that small decision might change everything. Marcus discovers the money gone. It is late at night when he opens the locked drawer in his office. The envelope that should hold $4,000 is empty. For a few seconds, he just stares at it. Then his face changes. The money was for property taxes. Without it, they could lose the house. He calls both of his sons into the living room. Caleb speaks first. His voice is quick and sure. "Dad, I saw Ethan near your office earlier. He came out and looked nervous." Ethan's head snaps up. "What?" "No. I was in the garage. I was working on Mr. Lopez's car." Caleb shakes his head. "No, you weren't. I saw you. Around 11. You had your hoodie on. You walked out of the hallway and went straight to your room." He keeps adding small details. Too many details. The time. The way Ethan looked. The sound of the drawer closing. Ethan feels his chest tighten. "That's not true. You're lying." Marcus does not ask more questions. He does not check the office again. He does not pause to think. Instead, he steps forward and slaps Ethan across the face. It is not a hard slap, but it is clear. Final. "You're not going to disrespect me in my own house," Marcus says, his voice low and shaking with anger. Ethan tastes blood where his teeth cut his lip. His face burns, but the pain inside hurts more. His father did not even ask for proof. Marcus storms into Ethan's room and starts searching. He opens drawers. He pulls clothes from the closet. He looks under the mattress. Then he finds it, $600 in cash inside a small metal box. "This is from the auto shop," Ethan says quickly. "It's my pay. I've been saving it." Marcus holds the money tightly. "Partial repayment," he says. "It's not yours." Ethan shouts, but his voice sounds weak. Marcus points to the front door. "Get outside. And don't come back in until you decide to tell the truth." The words hit Ethan like ice water. A few minutes later, he is standing outside in the freezing night, barefoot and shaking. As the cold air cuts through him, something changes inside him. He realizes this is not really about the money. It is about who his father believes. And his father chose Caleb without hesitation. That truth hurts more than the cold. Then, as he hugs himself to stay warm, a thought suddenly comes to him. The garage camera. Earlier that week, he installed a small security camera after tools went missing. If the camera caught the driveway, it might show who left the house that night. It might show the truth, but the DVR system is inside. And the door is locked. Ethan looks at the dark windows. He does not know if Caleb even knows about the camera. If he finds out, he might try to erase the footage. Ethan's breathing slows. His mind becomes clear. He cannot let this go. Inside the house, the downstairs lights finally turn off. Everything goes dark. Ethan stares at the door and whispers into the night. "If I'm going down for this, I'm not going alone." Marcus refuses to speak to Ethan. The next morning, the house feels cold in a different way. Marcus drinks his coffee without looking at Ethan. When Ethan tries to say good morning, there is no reply. It is like he is invisible. Caleb sits at the table, acting upset. He sighs and shakes his head. "I didn't want it to come to this," he says softly, as if he is the one who is hurt. "I just told the truth." Ethan stares at him, but says nothing. Marcus takes Ethan's phone and puts it in his pocket. You're grounded, he says. No friends. No job. No car. And if this money isn't returned, you may have to delay college. Delay college. The words hit Ethan hard. He worked for years to get accepted. Now it feels like everything is slipping away. Meanwhile, Caleb's life is quietly falling apart. That afternoon, Caleb meets a man named Darius behind a closed gas station. Darius is in his mid-30s, tall and serious. He does not smile. He talks in a low voice that sounds like a warning. You have 48 hours, Darius says. After that, I don't ask nicely. Caleb nods quickly. I'll get it. I promise. But when he walks away, his hands are shaking. At home, pressure keeps building. Marcus makes a phone call to a real estate agent. Ethan hears him say, "We might need to sell." The house suddenly feels temporary. Ethan's school guidance counselor leaves a message about missing financial forms. Without them, his college aid could be delayed or canceled. Caleb becomes more nervous. He snaps at small things. He yells when the TV remote is missing. He slams doors. He checks his phone every few minutes. Ethan watches all of it carefully. One afternoon, when Marcus is at work and Caleb is out, Ethan sneaks into the garage. His heart beats fast. He walks to the small DVR system connected to the security camera. He pulls out the backup SD card he had hidden behind a toolbox. He does not watch it at home. Instead, he goes to his friend Daniel's house and uses Daniel's laptop. They sit quietly as the video loads. The screen shows the garage, then the hallway leading toward Marcus's office. The timestamp is clear. At 10:57 p.m., Caleb walks into the office. At 11:03 p.m., he walks out, looking around carefully. Later, at 11:42 p.m., the camera shows Caleb leaving the house through the front door. Then the footage cuts off. Ethan feels his stomach drop. Caleb staged everything. That night, Ethan waits until they are alone in the kitchen. I saw the footage, Ethan says quietly. Caleb freezes. You went into Dad's office, Ethan continues. You left the house after. For a moment, Caleb looks ready to deny it, but then his shoulders fall. You think Dad can handle losing this house? Caleb says. Losing everything? I just borrowed it. I was going to replace it. You blamed me, Ethan says. Caleb rubs his face. I didn't have a choice. There is real fear in his eyes now. There's a guy, Caleb admits. If I don't pay him back, he'll handle it. And you don't want to know what that means. He steps closer. Please, don't show Dad. Let me fix it. We can work together. Ethan's chest feels tight. If he shows the video, the family will break apart. If he stays silent, he loses everything, his trust, his future. The next day, the choice becomes clearer. Darius shows up at the house while Marcus is at work. He knocks hard on the door. When Caleb opens it, Darius pushes him back against the wall. You think I'm playing? Darius growls. Ethan sees everything from the hallway. He sees fear on Caleb's face. Real fear. This is not just about favoritism anymore. This is about danger. When Darius finally leaves, Caleb sinks to the floor. Ethan stands there, breathing hard. He understands now. But understanding does not mean protecting. That night, Ethan makes his decision. He will not cover for Caleb. Not anymore. Ethan gathers Marcus and Caleb in the living room. His hands are steady, even though his heart is beating fast. Marcus looks tired and annoyed. Caleb looks nervous but tries to hide it. What is this about? Marcus asks. Ethan does not answer right away. He walks to the TV and plugs in the SD card. The screen turns black for a moment. The room becomes very quiet. Then the video starts to play. The camera shows the hallway outside Marcus's office. The time and date are clear at the top of the screen. Caleb appears. He looks around before opening the office door. He steps inside. A few minutes later, he comes out holding an envelope. He quickly pushes it into his hoodie pocket. Then he walks away. No one speaks. The video continues. Another clip plays. This time it shows the driveway. Caleb walks out of the house late at night. A car pulls up. Darius steps out. They argue. Darius grabs Caleb's arm and pushes him. Marcus leans forward in his chair. His face changes slowly. First anger, then confusion, then something worse. Devastation. Caleb stands up suddenly. I was going to fix it, he shouts. I swear. I just needed time. Marcus does not look at him. He keeps staring at the screen as if it might change. Finally, he turns to Ethan. I left you out there, Marcus says quietly. Ethan swallows. His voice is calm, but it carries deep hurt. You didn't even ask me. The words hang in the air. They hit harder than any yelling. Marcus closes his eyes for a second. In that moment, he understands what he has done. He punished the wrong son. He chose the easy answer instead of listening. It reminds him of the past, of when his wife was sick and he assumed she would be fine. He did not act soon enough then either. He looks at Caleb again, but now he sees him clearly. Not as the strong, perfect son he wanted him to be. Just as a young man who is scared and lost. Marcus picks up his phone. Caleb panics. Dad, don't. Please don't call the police. I'm not calling about the money, Marcus says firmly. I'm calling about the man who threatened you. He dials. Caleb's shoulders drop. The fight leaves his body. He sits down and puts his face in his hands. I started gambling after I failed out of school, Caleb says in a broken voice. I felt like I was already a disappointment. I thought if I won big, I could fix everything. When I lost, I didn't know what to do. Lying was easier than telling you I messed up. The image of the golden sun disappears in that moment. What is left is the truth, and nothing in their family will ever be the same again. Darius is arrested on outstanding warrants. The police find out he was already wanted for other crimes. He is taken away in handcuffs. For the first time in weeks, Caleb can breathe without looking over his shoulder. The house feels quiet again, but not the same kind of quiet as before. This time, it feels like something heavy has been lifted, even if the damage is still there. Marcus takes money out of his retirement savings to pay the property taxes. It hurts him to do it. That money was for his future. But he says this house stays. We are not running from our problems. Caleb agrees to enter a gambling addiction program. He does not argue. He does not joke. He knows he has crossed a line. He starts attending meetings and speaks to a counselor. Some days are hard. Some days he wants to quit. But he keeps going. One evening, Marcus sits down with Ethan at the kitchen table. There is no anger in his voice this time. I failed you, Marcus says. I should have listened. I should have asked questions. I chose wrong. Ethan looks at his father carefully. He has waited a long time to hear those words. I needed a father that night, Ethan says quietly. Not a judge. Marcus nods. His eyes are wet. You're right. Ethan does not say, I forgive you. Not yet. But he does not walk away either. That is the first step toward healing. After that, things slowly begin to change. Marcus signs them up for family counseling. At first, it feels strange to talk about feelings in front of a stranger. But little by little, they begin to understand each other. Marcus talks about the guilt he still carries from their mother's death. Caleb talks about feeling like he had to be perfect. Ethan talks about feeling invisible. Caleb finds another job at a warehouse. It is not glamorous, but it is honest work. He goes to therapy and learns how to deal with his mistakes instead of hiding them. Ethan speaks with his guidance counselor and finishes his college paperwork. His plans are back on track. For the first time since that cold night, he feels hope again. One Saturday afternoon, Ethan installs new locks on the doors. This time, Marcus stands beside him, holding the tools. We both protect this house now, Marcus says. Later, Marcus looks at Ethan and says, I should have trusted the son who never gave me a reason not to. Ethan meets his father's eyes. You should trust both your sons, he replies. Just not blindly. Marcus gives a small, thoughtful nod. They are not perfect. They are not suddenly happy. But they are honest. And that is a stronger foundation than they had before. Quiet but powerful emotional closure. 6 months later, the air is warm instead of freezing. Ethan stands in his bedroom, packing the last of his things for college. His clothes are folded neatly in boxes. His books are stacked carefully. The room looks emptier with every item he removes. Downstairs, Marcus waits by the front door. Caleb stands nearby, quiet and unsure of what to say. Ethan carries a box to the car. When he comes back inside, Marcus holds out a small envelope. This isn't money, Marcus says softly. Ethan opens it. Inside is a printed picture from the security footage. It shows Caleb walking into the office that night. The image is clear. It is the moment everything changed. Ethan turns the picture over. On the back, Marcus has written, "Evidence matters. So does listening." Marcus clears his throat. "I keep one copy for myself," he says, "to remind me." Ethan looks at his father. He sees regret there, but also growth. Marcus is not the same man who locked him outside. Caleb steps forward. He looks different too, calmer, more honest. "I was wrong," Caleb says. His voice is steady, but serious. "And I'm still fixing it." There is no long speech. No big hug. Ethan nods. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Just real. "I know," he says. They stand there for a moment, the three of them. Not perfect. Not healed completely. But trying. Ethan walks outside and places the last box in the trunk of the car. He closes it gently. Before getting in, he turns and looks at the house. It is the same house where he once stood barefoot in the freezing night. The same house where he felt alone and betrayed. The same house where the truth finally came out. That cold night did not just expose a lie. It exposed the cracks in all of them. And sometimes when the truth comes out, it does not destroy a family. Sometimes it gives them a chance to rebuild it the right way. Hi friends. Thank you so much for staying with this story until the very end. If it touched your heart, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories. See you in the next one.